Well, I've got a Clunk. Yes, a Clunk. I don't know exactly what it is. I do know the common issues to look for in this 05 Toyota 4Runner, namely the front sway bar bushings and end links. But I can definitely tell it's right here in the front. I can't exactly tell which side it's on. So in today's video, you guessed it, I'm gonna try to tackle this front end Clunk. Well, that's right. It seems I have the infamous Clunk on this 4th gen 4Runner. This is a 2005. It has 236,000 miles on it. It's in relatively good condition for that many miles, but right after I purchased it and started driving it, I noticed a clunk in the front end. And I've gotten under there, obviously, multiple times trying to figure out what it is. Today, I strapped this GoPro to the bottom of the front bumper on each side, the driver and the passenger, to try to get a better look of what's going on as I'm driving. And to be honest, the only real thing I could see just looking at the back of the camera was the sway bar bushings do seem like they're a little loose. So here on the table is what I'm going to use to hopefully solve the clunking problem. And starting right down here, we have these Mevotech TTX front sway bar end links, and you can see how beefy these things are. These little green caps here are for shipping, and look how nice these things are. These are really heavy duty. Another cool benefit with these Mevotech end links is they are greasable. Both ends are greasable. A couple of extra bags come in the box. Of course, we have the nuts, the grease ports that we got to screw in, and they also ship with these wrenches that are helpful to tighten the nut. So that wrench is a thin profile to fit right here on the thin portion of this bolt. Now, keeping with the theme of the front sway bar here, you can see we have these Moog sway bar bushings. And these are really cool because not only are they Moog, they're blue, and they're also made in the USA. I like to see that. The bushings that are currently on the 4Runner, I can tell are worn out. I can see movement with the sway bar inside of the bushings, so hopefully these things can hold it a lot tighter. And now we're gonna move to the rear sway bar, and you can see we are still keeping with the Moog theme here. These rear sway bar end links are really nice as well. They seem to be nice and heavy duty. And what I really liked about them and what sold me on this exact one is that these are also greasable. And the bushings also look like they are pretty nice. Yes, these Moog end links are for the rear, and the sound, my clunking sound, is coming from the front, but we're gonna take care of all this stuff at the same time. First of all, let's take a good look at what we have going on. Well, you can see that my boot is completely torn up. You can literally see the ball and socket there. That's not good. It doesn't feel super loose. And looking down at the bottom, we can see more of the same. The boot is completely torn open, and you can see right inside of there. Now, I'm not sure if these end links are the cause of the clunking sound, but these are a very common issue on these 4th gen 4Runners. And when you look at mine, well, they look pretty bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap these out. There we go. You can see just where my locking pliers were. I just basically grabbed onto this here, and that way I was able to easily remove the nut. Okay, for the bottom nut, you can see I have my locking pliers on here again. There we go. Not too bad. I went ahead and jacked up the other side of the truck, something I should have did in the first place because that relieved a lot of the pressure on the sway bar itself, which allows me to just pull this lower side. Well, hopefully pull it straight out. There we go. All right, just a bit of muscling it out. Wow, that is what I would call worn out. Okay, let's take a look at the difference between these two links. You can see right away this TTX one is so much thicker. It looks like it is just built for a tank. They are the same length from stud to stud, so that's good. And this new one has a nice looking heavy duty boot. And again, looking close at this one, you can see the boot has completely failed. So regardless of whether this was the clunking sound or not, these are common failures. We can see this one has failed. So I am really stoked to get these new ones in there. Now, one thing I do need to do before I install these end links is go ahead and insert the grease fitting. You can see on each end we have a threaded hole, and they do include these fittings. There we go. Just want to make sure we're not cross-threading those. And I have a little 8mm wrench here that I'll go ahead and tighten these down. So that's what they look like with the cap off, just your typical grease fitting. I know I'm going to have a little bit of an issue with lining up the sway bar to the end link. So I think first I'm going to install the top half here and that is going to be this longer stud. So let's see how this goes. Yep, that is going to be fully seated. Well, I'm having a tough time getting this bottom stud through the sway bar. There's just not a whole lot of room here, and this end link is thicker, it seems, and so I need more room than the factory one that came out. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just take the end link off of the other side, the passenger side, and also remove the bushings since we're replacing those anyway. That way I can just have a free-floating sway bar here, get the end links on, put the bushings on. Hopefully that's the way it'll work out. There's that driver's side sway bar bushing. If I twist this bushing around, you can see it is split. Okay, there we go. One original factory sway bar bushing. Well, I got the whole sway bar out, which was really easy. I should have did this right from the very beginning. Well, I cleaned this area up just a little bit, sprayed some WD-40, cleaned it with a rag. I'm gonna use this CRC synthetic brake and caliper grease. This stuff is gnarly. Just wanna make sure this is well lubed. Just like that. And here is that other side, passenger side. Well lubed. You know, this way the sway bar can move really, really easily within the bushing as needed. I'm gonna pre-install the sway bar end links just on the bar side. So now these are pre-installed. I don't have to worry about fitting this in there. Now I can put the sway bar back in and hopefully everything else will line up. Well, back over here on the driver's side, you can see everything is going according to plan. We have the sway bar bolted back up with the new bushings and everything is greased. And I have the end links kind of pre-installed, ready to be torqued down. I've already taken care of the passenger side, which are totally tight. I just have to torque down this driver's side. They do include this very thin open end wrench here, and that's so that we can grab on to the stud. I'm not exactly sure on the torque spec on these, so I just got them good and tight. And with that, the job up here in the front is done. The passenger side here is much the same, completely tight, and most of all, done. The new bushings are completely installed, the bolts are tight. A real quick side note, if you're noticing all this oil all over the frame of my truck, it is not an oil leak. It is actually fluid film that I've sprayed all over my frame. I know I said I was gonna put those rear sway bar end links on as well, but after doing all that work on the front, I just couldn't help but wanting to take this thing out and see if we fix the problem. So far, this is a good sign. I think it's fixed, guys. Already I would have heard it 50 times over. Let me be quiet. Absolutely fixed. There's not even a question about it. Yes! Yes! Guys, I was so excited about testing this out that I forgot to turn on my lav mic. So you're hearing the audio straight from my GoPro here, which is fine. No more clunking, guys. None. Not one time. Of course I don't believe it, so I'm listening intently. So, it's fixed. All right, I'll make good on my promise and we'll do the rear sway bar end links now. Well, right now I'm working on this driver's side rear sway bar link. I already did get the nut off of this thing, so I'm just taking these bushings off. Of course, I'm trying to do it with the tire still on. Okay, there's the top of the link. Here's the bottom, and we have a nut on this other side. You can see my ratchet on here. Ugh, got it. Ow. You know the feeling? All right, we finally got the nut off the bottom of the link. Of course, the stud started spinning, so I needed to get my locking pliers there. And there goes that. So let's compare the new end link, which is by Moog, versus the original factory end link. You can see they are the same length from here to here. And you can also tell that the Moog is much thicker and beefier than the factory one. So how does this one work? Because you can see we have this bolt here. We have two of these kind of weird looking bushings. It's set up a little differently than that one. Well, on this bag that the end link came in, it has torque specification. And right here on the bushing end, it says torque bolt until the shoulder bolt stops out and the sway bar link shank thread. And I'm assuming that basically just means we're gonna put our bushings on, and this bolt is going to go in, basically be torqued until it stops. We're not going to torque it any tighter after that. It looks like, hey, tighten this down until it stops. They did pre-install some thread locker on there. In terms of this end here, looking at the packaging, it says torque the socket nut to 55 foot-pounds. So it looks like this nut is getting torqued to 55 foot-pounds, and this, hopefully, we're going to have enough compression on these bushings just by bottoming out these threads into here. Also, if we look at the odd shape of these bushings, you can see there's a socket in there, and that socket sits right over the link end just like that. Now the other bushing has the same thing going on, and that's because the same thing's going to happen on the bolt end. You can see the bolt slides in there nicely. Now the last thing I wanted to show you here is the fact that this one indeed has a grease fitting there. So this is a greasable joint, which is awesome. Now because the bushings are going to be coming into contact with the vehicle side here, this bracket, and it's a little dirty, I'm going to go ahead and clean it off. And now I can slide the end link into the bar side, and with the nut started back there, I can place the bottom bushing and then hopefully get my bolt started through there. And finally, here's what that driver's side end link looks like when done. And now for the passenger side. This passenger side is, of course, the exact same as the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this one now. And here is the after. Looks pretty good. Now that everything's installed, I want to see how this thing performs, especially those bushings. So I have my GoPro set up and it's looking right at that end link. Hopefully we'll be able to get a really good idea of just how this end link performs, especially those bushings. I am taking the same path that I took when I was working on the front, and so hopefully this terrain that I'm on will show a good idea, because this is not a very level, flat surface. This has got a lot of bumps and hills and different scenarios to hopefully show exactly what these sway bar end links are doing. Well, I think I'm going to call it job well done. The clunking sound is gone. We got new end links in the front and the back, new bushings only on the front. I'll do the rear bushings sometime soon. And I was able to strap a camera to the front and the back, looking at the suspension, those end links, take it through my land here and see exactly how those end links are performing. Specifically how those bushings are performing is what I was curious about. The end links in the rear have those two weird shaped bushings, and I just wanted to make sure that that's the way they're supposed to be. There wasn't supposed to be some sort of metal washer in between the mount. But anyway, it looks exactly right, and it looks like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm stoked about that. There was never any sound or clunking in the rear. I knew it was only in the front. We solved that, which was probably just those front bushings. But the end links, both front and back, looked horrible. The boots were torn. You could see the ball inside. Just not a great situation. They basically, for better or worse, have failed. And so regardless, even if those things were still performing the way they're supposed to, I am a preventative maintenance guy. I like to make sure that things are fixed before they become a problem. I don't want to be out driving somewhere on a trail somewhere and one of the end links actually does catastrophically fail. I'd rather take care of the issue now, being that those are common issues on this 4th gen 4Runner. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed some of that footage of the before and after on the front suspension and the after on the rear, and then just a view of the 4Runner as I drove through my land back there. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps this video and the channel. And if you've watched this far and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'm Jimmy for One Road, and I will see you in the next one.